So brace yourselves, we got a lot of Starfield news to go over today. Yes, Starfield is about to get even bigger for everyone. Now, if you thought it was big now, you haven't seen nothing yet. And we have a brand new warning about the version of Starfield you bought because this might limit your experience in the future. I'll talk about that in a moment. Also, a major programming fault has been apparently discovered in the game, but is it really that big of a deal? Some say it is, and are calling Bethesda to pay attention to this one. Plus, an underrated Starfield feature that you might not know about that adds a lot of immersion to the game when it comes to companions. And a surprising key feature of Starfield that apparently lags behind Fallout 4. The community is calling for a major upgrade to this one feature. So yeah, we got to dive to that as well. But yes, remember, if you are new, smack that subscribe button and also turn on that bell notification icon so you never miss an upcoming video. But we're going to start out with this one right here. It says major programming faults discovered in Starfield's code by BKD 3D dev. Performance issues are not the result of non-upgraded hardware. And this comes from Lava Meteor. Now, the original source of this information was Nepsin 402. This was posted to bring awareness. And there is some technology lingo here. I'm not going to read all of it, but basically, if we wrap it up, it says Starfield allocates its memory incorrectly. It also abuses a DirectX 12 feature called Execute Indirect and creates multiple Execute Indirect calls back to back instead of batching them, meaning the problem above is compounded multiple times. Now, it says what really grinds my gears is the fact that the open source community has figured out and come up with workarounds to try to make this game run better. These workarounds are available to view by the public eye, but Bethesda will most likely not care about fixing their broken engine. Instead, they double down and claim their game is optimized if your hardware is new enough. But we do have some interesting replies into this. It could be that Bethesda might actually create some sort of patch based on the feedback here. I'm crossing my fingers that that does happen to really optimize this game going forward. However, we have this. It says, what's not clear in the info is the degree to which these inefficiencies affect frames per second. There's no benchmark, obviously. It might all be very minor despite looking bad at the level of code. Probably best to keep expectations in check. Now, it says thousands of people are upvoting this, and I bet 1 in 1,000 have the technical ability to validate or even investigate these findings. This may be by design, could be a false identification of a problem. This might be a bug, but a trivial one. This could be a massive issue akin to GTA 5 Discovery a few years back. We really don't know. So yeah, again, PC performance seems to be a hot topic here. Of course, there's mods to help with that, but it seems like it's all over the place for everyone. Again, my game is running really good. We also have this one right here. This is important to know. It says the thing is the guy who found this out isn't your average Joe. He works on BKD 3D, which is a translation layer for DX games to Vulkan. The stuff is used in Valve's Proton for Steam Deck and Linux support, and it's used in DXVK for Windows. The guy knows his stuff, and what he describes is a pretty serious issue. So yeah, I really do hope that Bethesda takes the time out to really seriously look at this, because we also have Sentinel Prime who brings up a great point here. He says, probably right, but the last time someone found an inefficiency in Bethesda's code, we got a near 40% FPS boost with Skyrim SC. We don't get that here, but it's a demonstration of Bethesda's incompetence. And we do have this follow-up calling that out, the accusation from Amazing Lover, who says this, as someone who codes, though not for games, this has nothing to do with incompetence. Anyone who says otherwise has no clue what they're talking about and have never actually released a product before. I've had products go to production that absolutely worked fine, and the 3 testers I had that tried to break never found any bugs, and the ones they did find were fixed prior to release. Then you go live and the 1,000+ users break in ways you never thought of. Neither money nor resources would solve this problem. This is not having enough time to test every possibility. And you're probably thinking that they should have delayed it, but if it only impacts 1% of users, why should I hold it back and punish the other 99%? And you're probably also thinking modders were able to fix it. Why couldn't Bethesda? Modders were likely impacted directly by the issue and noticed it as an actual problem. They had the time to work on a fix. Now, unless you want the game pushed back another 6 months to fix all the bugs, and in the process introduce more, which is a sad fact of coding or devs working 16-hour days fix these, you'll have to realize bugs are going to be a part of nearly every game, and that in of itself doesn't make them incompetent. And I have to say that with the version that was released initially for Starfield, I think it was 1.7, that was ahead of even like Fallout 4 when it released, which was like 1.1 when that game released. So yeah, it seems like they gave this game an extra year in the oven just to actually patch it up and fix it and to get it into the state it currently is in. And I hope they keep pushing it even further. But yeah, let me know if you guys are having any issues. Now, someone did point this out as well, saying reposting for all NVIDIA and GPU owners, enable rebar in mobile BIOS and Windows itself. It says the original thread didn't gain much traction, so I'm reposting it in the hopes to get more eyes on it, since it made a huge difference in FPS gain and overall smoothness for me. It's on the 390, by the way, and my buddy's 360 setups. Also include my settings in case right there. Now, there are some warnings that you might have to mess with your motherboard, so go into this one, cautious. But it seems like some replies here are saying that they are definitely getting an FPS boost through that method. So I'm throwing that in the description below so you guys can actually look at that and investigate it for yourselves. Now, we got to talk about, yes, the future of Starfield, because it is looking very, very bright. And yes, the game is going to be getting bigger here. Check it out right here. It goes on to say this. Todd Howard confirms Starfield Creation Kit mod support will be launching in 2024. But there's some more examination and details into this. It says right here, Creation 2 Kit is coming. Historically, Bethesda has always staggered the release of its games' respective Creation Kit offerings. Skyrim, for example, came out on November 11th, 2011, while its Creation Kit launched early in February 2012. Similarly, Fallout 4 was released on November 10th, 2015, and it didn't receive its own Creation Kit until April 2016. This means that even though Howard hasn't provided a firm timeline in his interview with Famitsu, the odds are good that we are roughly 4 to 6 months away from the release of Starfield's Creation Kit 2, given the studio's previous offerings. And I think that's actually good speculation there. And yeah, I would expect that to happen. So if you are on Xbox, be happy, because you are going to get at least some form of modding in the future. But yeah, we also have news about, guess what, an expansion. Check it out here. The first Starfield expansion has already been confirmed. Starfield Shattered Space was the final reveal in a massive showcase, and there might be more to come. Now, this article goes on to say this right here. However, the suggestion is that this is the first Starfield expansion could point more firmly towards a collection of Fallout-style efforts. Now, Bethesda and Obsidian tended to release a collection of slightly smaller narrative efforts for those games, although Fallout 4's Far Harbor was a notable exception, and people loved Far Harbor. Honestly, I want big, beefy expansions. I don't want stuff that's like smaller when it comes to narrative-driven experiences. So hopefully they can offer us like something related to a new faction, or a faction that is not explored currently in the game. I love the faction quest lines, and that's something that I personally would love to see, is them introducing more faction-centric expansion style, big DLC hits. That would be very, very cool. Also, yeah, we got to talk about this right here. Starfield's growing community patch already has 100 flagged issues. I talked about this in a previous video, that we are going to be getting a very big community patch mod. And check it out. Yeah, over 130 issues have been tagged here by the community. This is what is currently going to be fixed, or they're going to attempt to fix in this huge patch. I will let you guys know when this patch mod, I should call it, will be releasing. It's like an unofficial massive Starfield patch, which should be improving the game big time. We'll see if it also makes it run smoother, but yeah, we'll find out. Now, also, we've got to talk about that underrated feature that adds a ton of immersion in Starfield. Let's get into this one, and it relates to one of the companions of the game, Vasco. It says when players get control of the Frontier, Vasco will refer to them as Captain. While Bethesda could have just left it at that, the studio actually gave the robot the ability to say a certain number of names as well. He can allegedly say names from a list of over 1,000 of the most common names in the world. Some players have even discovered that they can also make him swear depending upon the name they use. While not everyone will benefit from this feature, it still feels like a fantastic addition to the formula. So you know what? Go ahead and try it. My personal favorite companion is Vasco. He just leaves me alone for the most part. Lets me do my thing and doesn't bother me when I'm on Neon trying to do like the more underground, seedier type stuff that the game has, which I love that stuff on Neon. All right, so we got to talk about this headline right here. Starfield surpasses Skyrim on Steam, but lags behind Fallout 4. Starfield has surpassed Skyrim's concurrent player peak on Steam, while still lagging behind Fallout 4 for one very good reason, despite the sizable launch. This is a fascinating read here, so let's get into it, shall we? So it says this: with the Starfield launch being the best ever for Bethesda Game Studios game, it might not come as a surprise to hear that the space game has overtaken the likes of Skyrim for concurrent player counts. That said, the Steam stats for Starfield still don't compare to something like Baldur's Gate 3, but there's good reason for it. Either way, Starfield's Steam stats are still incredibly impressive, as since the early access launch at the start of September, the game has amassed a massive 313,000 concurrent players at its current peak, and I think it's gone even beyond that. But they do go on to point out the fact that there's a bit of a wrinkle into the numbers compared to Baldur's Gate 3, that this game is on PC Game Pass, and we do not have those numbers whatsoever, while Baldur's Gate is on Steam, of course. So yeah, that's definitely a very interesting wrinkle into the numbers, and I would love to know how many people are actually on PC Game Pass right now. Let me know if you are. Now, I do have a warning about that, so brace yourselves if you are actually on PC Game Pass. So take a look at this. The Starfield on PC Game Pass has one big disadvantage compared to the Steam version. So yeah, it goes on to say this: playing Starfield through PC Game Pass limits modding potential compared to buying it on Steam, as the universal Windows platform version is incompatible with Starfield Script Extender. Now, Microsoft's decision to release Starfield on Xbox Game Pass indicates its confidence in subscription content, but it comes at the cost of modding capabilities for players. SFSE, a tool crucial for modding Bethesda RPGs, will likely never support the PC Game Pass version of Starfield due to the differences between UWP and Steam executables. Now, buying the game through Steam is recommended for serious modding. Now, hold up, don't panic if you're in a complete panic about this, because yes, I do believe that Creation Kit 2 will still be supported on Xbox Game Pass versions of Starfield, as well as the PC Game Pass as well. Now, we have yet to hear that officially from, of course, Bethesda. We'll have to wait and see what they have to say about that one. But if you're wanting to get into the nitty-gritty type of modding from like Nexus mods and that sort of thing, you're definitely going to want, of course, to be on Steam. So yeah, again, kind of curious to see what the comments are going to be like about this one, how many of you are actually on PC Game Pass or not. All right, so yes, we got to talk about this one. I wish Starfield had Fallout-style radio stations. One of the best parts of Bethesda's past games is missing in the latest open-world adventure. And I wanted to highlight this because I was actually exploring through Starfield, and I thought to myself, man, it would be so cool if I could pick up on like radio stations from these different space stations, different cities. And I think that they definitely need to add this in, or at the very least, a modder needs to get busy and craft radio stations coming from some of these planets. I just think that'd be so cool to, even fly by a planet and hear it in your spaceship and have that as an option. That'd be so, so cool. And we also have some critical feedback about Starfield. Take a look at it. It says, outposts are the most disappointing part of this game. Oh, really? This comes from Hello There. Says, first of all, I want to say that I'm absolutely adoring Starfield. I have almost 60 hours in it, and I'm baffled by the amount of content. This game is almost perfect. Now on to the rant. Okay, let's get into it. It says, personally, Outpost was the thing I was excited about the most. I built up every single settlement in Fallout 4, and I was excited that this was going to be Fallout, but more. They advertised it as their most in-depth building system yet, only to find out it was a complete lie. Now, the Outpost system is so incredibly basic, it's not even fun. While in Fallout, you had prefabs, you also had floors, walls, roofs, everything you could want to build your own designs. What do we have in Starfield? A circle, a square, and a hexagon. Choose. Prefabs would be okay if we had options. There are dozens of small prefab structures in the game. The best examples are the beautiful 3D printed structures we see in many civilian settlements. Instead, if you want to build a bathroom, you can't because there's no way to divide interiors unless you want an entire tab to be a toilet. Not only that, but outposts are also full of unnecessary restrictions. Why are we forced to build airlocks? The atmosphere is breathable. Civilian outposts in planets with breathable atmospheres do not have airlocks. So why are we forced to use them? If you are going to force us to use them, you could at least remove that weird turning staircase when putting them at ground level. There's like 15 different doors in this game, and you force us to use this absolute worst one. Furthermore, I get that we can't build whole cities, but only 3 people per settlement. And then if you focus on the skill, you can get a staggering 8 by late game. In Fallout 4, we can have double or triple that. Crew skills don't work either, so don't be like me and waste 20k on a companion with outpost engineering because it does nothing. Outpost linking is also a logistical nightmare, In Fallout 4, all you had to do was send a lady with a cow and boom, all your settlements have all of your resources. Now you have to do a bunch of weird connecting and setting up just to get a worse version of that. Who the hell thought it was a good idea for the landing pad to take a third of the buildable area? Also, if you're not in a perfectly flat area, forget about it. Foundation is too tall. Another unnecessary restriction. The foundation on one side is 20 feet tall. So what? What is the logic on us not being able to build it anyways? Restrictions for the sake of restrictions. All in all, what was advertised as their most in-depth building system yet is an inch deep, has basically no choices, has very few options, is unnecessarily complicated, unnecessarily restrictive, and much less rewarding. Fallout 4 is almost 10 years old, and they started working on settlements last minute as proof of concept, yet it is 10 times better than what we got in Starfield. There are so many upvotes on this post, tons of people talking about it, and it seems like you guys want an upgrade to your base building, and hopefully, Bethesda takes a look at this and considers this as like some sort of attachment to free DLC. That'd be very cool for them to tap into that. Yeah, it's a shame that they have apparently taken this step back with base building, of course. Now, that's not like my go-to feature myself. I love just getting into the action, but yeah, I really do hope that they flesh this out even more. Now, we also have this one, a little bit of a twist on feedback. It says, what I think is disappointing about Starfield. It's not what you think. It says, the reception is its receiving is disappointing. It feels like such a massive step up from Fallout 4 in so many ways, and it's getting no credit for it. They brought back the silent protagonist. They added more RPG elements. The writing is a big step up from Fallout 4. The game is loaded with detail. The amount of content is mind-boggling. That's one thing that, yeah, I totally agree. Bethesda is back on their A game with location building. The main hubs are some of the best they've made. I could go on. Point being, I feel like Bethesda learned a lot of lessons from Fallout 4, and the whole game is a giant labor of love. Feels like a lot of people aren't seeing it. It's a shame. Yeah, there was a lot of agreement on this one as well. So I totally agree with that. And I think if they just keep heading in this direction and keep improving on what they currently do with their games, Elder Scrolls 6 will be just absolute standout, amazing game. And I cannot freaking wait to see like the first gameplay of Elder Scrolls 6 eventually. All right, so we got to talk about further feedback from the community out on Twitter. We've got Young Ye who says this: the lack of vehicles or more expedient form of navigation in Starfield is a serious detriment given how much empty space there is on these more barren planets. I rue having to run my way to a distant unknown location when exploring. It can be incredibly tedious. A lot of agreement on that one. And we have Shinobi who says, enjoying my time in Starfield, but the more I explore, the more I find myself disagreeing with this choice. Starfield's lack of ground vehicles is a deliberate choice. Bethesda says it's something we consider. And we have Blue Drake who says Starfield is proof that you don't need all the features Star Citizen has to make a good game. I've had 375% more fun playing Starfield than I've ever had playing Star Citizen. and Starfield can't do half the things Star Citizen can. Developers should learn from this. Do you guys agree? If you've taken the time out to play games like No Man's Sky, Starfield, and of course, yes, Star Citizen, which game is at the top of your list out of all of those? I am extremely curious to see what you guys have to say about that one. Yeah, we got some invaluable tips here as well from Dan's Gaming, who says, Starfield tip, you can access your ship's inventory remotely. Just need to be within 500 meters of the ship. Go into the ship tab in your inventory and press the cargo hold button. You could put things in or take things out, as you can see right here. So yeah, that's a huge tip. And yeah, I think that should help a lot of you out and make exploring a lot more manageable, especially if you are over encumbered. You could just instantly access your ship's cargo hold without just being right there in your ship. All right, so we also have further feedback. Yes, even more critical feedback right here. Check it out. It says, I'm loving this game, but I wanted to throw together a little feedback wish list from posts on this sub, just in case Todd or Bethesda Game Studio devs be lurking. The Starfield feedback wish list. Take a look at this big, massive wish list right here. Some things that stick out for me personally is, yes, I mentioned it about the Fallout style radio stations. Would love to see that. When I do agree that Planet Outposts need more variety, specifically the mining areas. I have been in the same mine so far. I think like 6 times right now, which is definitely a pain. But take a look at this list, pause the screen, let me know which one sticks out to you, or if something is missing, leave a comment down below, because you never know. Yes, Bethesda Game Studios probably is taking a look at the feedback and considering listening. And also NPC walk and auto walk, that definitely needs to be a thing. They need to look at Hogwarts Legacy once again. When you are running around, the NPC needs to keep up with you for sure. Also, one thing that I noticed recently, thankfully someone actually mentioned it out on Reddit, says, am I the only one who dislikes the scopes? 90% of the time, I can't even see the lines to align my shots. This, in my personal opinion, needs to be adjusted officially. Yes, a modder will get to it, probably already has. So I need to look at that actually. But yeah, that for me needs to be adjusted, because sniping is kind of like a pain for me personally. And it's a little bit difficult to actually get those headshots going because of that problem. All right, so now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up in a future video. So let's do this. So yes, we have this one right here. My previous video says, I can't believe today's news. This is wild. Fallout 3 on planets. New updates. Check that out if you missed it. But I'm going to scroll down here and take a look at what you guys had to say. So we have Malice Wonderland 872, who says, would be absolutely amazing mods to have a Fallout planet and Elder Scrolls planet. That would be off the chart. I'm just waiting for someone to actually take that on. That'd be so cool. Then we have Moose0909, who says, needs to be space station building as a feature. Hope we see DLC for it, or some well done mod at least. I love seeing a brand new space station that I've never been in and docking and exploring. I recently went into a derelict space station. It was kind of creepy. It felt kind of like Dead Space to me. I was like, something happened here. I never really figured out what happened, but just that one moment, there was no combat, no one there, and I left like wondering, what the hell? I just love those type of moments in the game. All right, next up we have this one right here. Cole Jones 8471 says, the map sizes on planets could roughly fit the entirety of Fallout 3, or at least New Vegas, given how it was actually smaller than Fallout 3. I'm excited to see mods that bring these entire games into Starfield as a single landing spot. It's inevitability, a natural extension of TTW. Yeah, it's just gonna happen. Hopefully it does, you know, but again, we've seen what they've done with Skyrim. They're still like modding the hell out of Skyrim. Same thing with Fallout, with absolutely crazy stuff. So yeah, I think we will be hearing from modders eventually about this one. So cross my fingers it happens sooner than later. But yeah, there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. That is the latest happenings around Starfield. And I will keep you guys in the know about any official updates that do actually take place for this game, announcements about the expansion and so on. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.